All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to make a short video on about tension. I've noticed over the years that I play with a lot of tension, not as much as I used to. It's definitely gotten less and less over the years, but there still exists some tension that I believe is preventing me from breaking through the next level, breaking through into the next level. So I figured I'd just talk about it for a second. None of this video is not planned. I just figured it'd be good. I thought it would be a good video to do. So usually when I see students, beginning guitar students play, I can see the tension very, very clearly. They'll be playing and I don't know, there are these cues, these little hints and clues that I can see. And it's just so obvious that, okay, this person is playing with a lot of tension. And sometimes I'll tap their hand while they're playing and their hand doesn't budge. It's like, okay, that's a lot of tension because, you want to be nice and relaxed that, if I do tap your hand, it'll move. It'll react to that instead of just being like a brick wall. And so usually what I'll have the students do is I'll have the students exhale while they're playing. Or if it's not as bad, then exhale while they're playing a difficult passage. Because usually when things get difficult, we tend to tense up. And I do the same thing. So what I've started to do literally yesterday is to practice with as little tension, with as little amount of tension as is necessary. Because we need a little bit, right, to press down on the string. So I'm just trying to be accurate with my language, but you want to just take as much of it out as you can while still obviously being able to press down on the strings. And so what I was doing was, first I was exhaling, like I said, which is something I would tell my students to do. Just exhale as you're playing. Because when we exhale, our body just starts to go limp. All right? So I was doing that and I realized it's something I can actually control even if I'm not exhaling. So then I told myself, let me just make sure that I'm limp while I'm playing the guitar. So the piece that I've been working on for a while, the fugue, I'm noticing there's still a lot of mistakes in there, and I practice it, and I think maybe part of it has to do with the tension that exists. So when I'm playing, I'm being very, very careful to notice. See, obviously I'm playing very slow, but I'm only pressing down what's absolutely necessary. And as I'm playing this, and I'm shifting down, so little tension exists there that sometimes when I'm playing, I'm getting a buzz, but not because my finger is misplaced or because I'm making a mistake. If anything, it's a good kind of buzz because it means that I'm pulling back on that tension, so much so that I'm almost not pressing down hard enough. Well, I am not pressing down hard enough, but it's just right at that limit, right at that edge. And I remember seeing a video about this. I don't remember who it was, so forgive me. But you can just turn this into an exercise. So when you're playing, the goal isn't to play cleanly. The goal is to play buzzes. See, that's right there. That's a clean note, but it's too much. So we want that. We want that. Right there. A little bit more. Right there. And you'll notice you don't need to press down a lot. I'm kind of talking to myself as I say this. And I noticed I don't need to press down a lot. But when you play a piece, that kind of goes out the window, right? So I figured if I do that while I'm playing a piece, even if it's slow, the thought process, I would imagine if that were to take, I would imagine if I were to do that all the time, then my playing will eventually just sort of transform into that, where I'm not pressing down a lot. And I notice when I'm focusing on that very little tension, that goal of little tension, I can play the fugue specifically for 2 hours, and my hand doesn't get tired, it doesn't get sore, it doesn't feel overworked, it doesn't feel like I need to relax or I need to rest, because I'm in a relaxed state. My hand is in a relaxed state while I'm actually playing the fugue. It's hard because I have to focus all the time. I mean, you should be focusing all the time when you're practicing, but sometimes it'll be, your mind starts to wander. But I noticed in I did this last night. I noticed for 2 hours, my hand felt good. Like it wasn't too bad at all. So that's just something I thought I'd share. I know I feel like I'm sort of all over the place. But again, this is an impromptu video. And I was doing the same thing with also Maria by Tárrega. Right? I almost don't mind the buzzes, because the important part is that at least my fingers are where they need to be, and my hand is relaxed. So it's something I think everybody should try. I also will tell my students to play something, and I say, and I'll stop them. I'll stop them in the middle of what they're playing, and I'll say, "Put your hand down, just relax, take a deep breath." And I'll ask them, "Do you feel a sense of relief in your hand?" And they'll say yes. And I'll say, "Okay, well, you shouldn't. Or if you do, it should be very, very slight. If you're playing like this and then you stop, you're like, oh, let me just relax a little bit." Right there is telling you, okay, there's way too much tension. But if you're playing and you're very relaxed and you stop playing, there shouldn't be really a sense of, you shouldn't feel a physical change. And if you do, it's very, very slight. And I'm going to continue to practice this way and sort of see where it goes. Because I think some of the shifts in the ponce, like there, there's tension in there, and I need that to go away. So, and also I notice I'm beginning to rely less on the pressure on the string, at least when it comes to bars, and relying more on the gravity. My fingers kind of pulling down on the strings a little bit to get the bar, as opposed to pushing down into the guitar. And I tell this to my students all the time, but I notice even I'm still doing that. Even I'm still, relying too much on this and relying too little on the fact that your hand is in a position that allows you to just kind of settle into the strings. That is not a lot of tension, because I'm not squeezing, I'm not applying pressure here. I'm just letting my hand sort of pull down on the strings ever so slightly. And I got to be able to do that on command instantaneously. See, my hand, when I played that little phrase right there, my hand feels great. It's like I didn't even play. So I'm getting older now too, so that's another issue. I'm trying to figure out a way to play without, a way to keep racking in the hours of practice, effective practice, without killing my wrists, because I am doing these wrist exercises before I start. I also like to occasionally will do them an hour into my session. And anytime I feel like I need to, I'll do this and I'll do this, kind of move them, get them nice and limber, and then I go. So I think this, alongside playing very, very relaxed, I'm trying to get as extreme as I can, and remembering to kind of use the hand to kind of pull down on the strings. Those two, I think, will take a lot of the burden away from the wrist and the muscles, especially this muscle right here, because this is the one you use to press down against the guitar, right? Like when you do a lot of bar chords, after a while you're sore right here, right? So just letting the fingers, letting your hand pull down on the strings. Oh, I don't need a lot of tension there. And I think the last thing I need to start looking into is the setup of my guitar. So my action is very, very high. I'm going to say, I was looking at a video. I think the ideal is 3.8 millimeters distance between the bottom of the sixth string and the fret. I don't have a precision ruler, but I just use a basic ruler and I kind of guesstimated. It's kind of hard because millimeters is such a small, measure of distance, but I'm probably close to like 5 or 6. So I need to look into getting this guitar set up, because I've played on other guitars and I'm like, man, why is this guitar so easy to play on? And I realized, it's because the action on my guitar is very, very high. So here, I guess I'll make an attempt. We'll see if this works out. But I'm going to show you so you can see. I don't know if this is going to work out, but right there. That's pretty high. That's pretty high. So that's something else I need to look into. And there are other things about my guitar that I need to fix. Like I got a little crack here. These are not the original tuning heads. The original tuning head, one of the gears just wore down because it was on crooked, and over the years it just ate away at the gear. So these are not the original. So I'd like to get that fixed. Because I have the originals somewhere in a drawer. I just have to pop these out and put the new ones, or the old ones, the original ones, back in. And then I'll leave it at that. The frets are kind of pressed in. They're kind of worn too. So that's not even about the topic of the video that I was trying to make, but I'm just kind of going off. But yeah, so I figured maybe this is a great tip for some of you. So when you're practicing, practice slow and try to press down with as little tension as possible, and use the weight of your hand to add some pressure without working your muscles or your wrists too hard, just overextending yourself. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, that's it. All right, bye-bye.